to another episode of On That Note Podcast. I'm Brandon.
And I am Calvin. Welcome back. I'm feeling great about this.
I am feeling great as well.
Yeah.
So y'all, this is our last episode of this season in terms of the albums that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
So we still have a season finale coming, and that's going to be fun. We're going to do some things with that. I think y'all going to enjoy it. I know y'all going to enjoy it. But to jump into this episode, the almost last episode, I'm sorry, today is also May 5th, so take from that what you will, okay? But this week's episode is brought to you by Preposterous Popcorn. And so this item right here, this product, is just amazing to be able to talk about for a number of reasons. Know the owner has been amazing and influential to me just in my life's journey as a student and now working in the field that I work in. But it's Preposterous Popcorn is owned by a black woman. Her name is Tisha. She is amazing, and she has a really, really, really amazing product. We're gonna be enjoying it this episode,
and we already started.
Okay.
To make it completely forthcoming,
as you can see. But the one on top is a caramel, cinnamon, and cheddar mix. And then on the bottom we have a spiked cheddar.
Yeah. And
both are amazing. I also recommend the salt and vinegar. And the cheddar, just the white cheddar or the cheddar gold. I'm just a cheesy popcorn fan, so I love it in any way it comes. But if you are interested in getting some Preposterous Popcorn, please navigate over to www.preposterous.com.
All right.
And you can place your order.
Yeah, let's give them the spelling of that, because that might be a little difficult for them to figure out.
Right. It works for me because
right.
I know it and I'm sitting here looking at it. But Preposterous, that's going to be PREPOPSTEROUS. So preposterous.com.
Yeah. But yeah, so like you said, we're going to be partaking in this. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to go on. Y'all have already seen the logo. It's time to get into it. Hopefully we're not smacking too much.
See, you trying to take the spiked cheddar from us.
But, oh, no, go ahead. Look. Oh, you're sure, right in the middle.
No, but it's really good, y'all.
It really is. So, let's get into While You Were Sleeping. And just so you all know, because, like Brandon said, this is the episode right before the final episode, we decided to give you all a 2-for-1 special. So, we're going to be giving you everything that y'all were used to getting in season 1. So, we're going to do While You Were Sleeping, Gossip Folks, going to go right into the Noteworthy and give you all, run that back in one fell swoop. So, you're welcome. So, starting with While You Were Sleeping, so mine this week is this guy by the name of William Singh.
Not familiar.
Okay. So it's funny because I've been listening to his covers and stuff maybe since 2015. So the first cover of his that I heard was, he did this cover of Pony. So, and I'm gonna have I'm gonna have to play it for you afterward, because it's a really good cover. But he's been doing covers for a while, and maybe in the last couple years, since maybe 2017, 2016, he's started to do some original songs. So he released a song this week, and I'm trying to pull it up for y'all. But it's called Up All Night. Thank you so much, Google. It was in the suggestions without even having to type it in. So it's called Up All Night. It samples, actually, So Anxious by Genuine, which is so interesting because, the first cover that I heard from him was a Genuine song. But I think he is some sort of South Asian. I'm not going to give him Filipino, but if he is that, then I was right. But he's some sort of South Asian, and he has a really, really great voice. I'm gonna have to play you a couple songs when we're done with the episode.
I already look forward to it.
But William Singh, the last name is spelled Singe at the end. So he's on Apple Music, and I'm pretty sure Spotify and stuff like that. So you can check out his covers. You can check out his new song, Up All Night. But he's really dope. I feel like he's been touring a little bit as well, but he has a really great voice. So hopefully we'll be seeing more of him and more original stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, so who's your your While You Were Sleeping for this week?
So my While You Were Sleeping this week is, I'm just go ahead and say the name. I usually try to do a big build up, but her name is Ryan Destiny.
Yeah.
So if you are familiar with the Lee Daniels show Star,
Yeah.
you will recognize the name Ryan Destiny. She plays Alex Crane on Star, and I love the show Star, but Ryan/Alex is absolutely my favorite on the show. And it's just also shaping up to be that way in life.
Yeah.
So she released a single back in September called The Same. And, it's just I like the song because I also don't think that it's, conventional in the sense of, yes, it has a chorus to it, but just if you listen to the song structure, it's a little different.
Okay, I'm into that.
And it's also... I know, it's just a really good song. It's just talking about how, the same patterns of behavior that you see from niggas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People, in relationships. Usually men, sorry, my brothers, but it is what it is. Do better. But so she recently, so the song came out back in September, but she just released the video. Okay. A couple of days ago. And in the video, she's really giving, some Aaliyah vibes. Just choreography, just styling. Mm-hmm. I don't know. She's amazing. She's a very, very, very talented singer, actress, songwriter. It kind of also reinforces who we see in her character on Star, because just like Alex is a capable songwriter, producer, stuff like that. I think that's probably the same for Ryan in real life. And so it's funny because she actually, I've been listening to the song, but then since the video came out, I've been really, really listening to the song. Yeah. And it made me want to change an answer to a question that you asked me on the last episode. Okay. When you asked me who is someone that I would love to be signed to Parkwood. Oh, wow. I would love for Ryan Destiny to be signed to Parkwood. Okay. Because more than anyone else that I've seen come out in the last 10 years, I think she is really capable of carrying forward the mantle that Beyonce has in terms of performing, singing, songwriting. Yeah, I think she has it. And she really has it.
Yeah. So I will say, the only episodes of Star I have seen is when I was with you. But I do think that she did kind of stand out to me as, what is it? It's 3 girls in the group or whatever. Yeah, I really only cared about... if you're talking about, realistic, who could actually be an artist in real life that I would want to pay attention to. Right. She would be the only one. And isn't she dating that guy that was in the New Edition? Yep. What's his name?
Keith Powers.
Keith Powers.
The one that played Ronnie DeVoe.
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, we ain't got to get into that. But yeah, she is dating him, and they're super cute together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I'll probably end up checking that out.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll play the video for you definitely at least after we finish recording.
Okay. But yeah, well, let's get into gossip, folks, and I'm gonna send this over to you because the first thing that we're gonna talk about is something that you had the pleasure of experiencing for yourself. Yes. So yeah, let's get into it. Go ahead.
So I just want to say to everybody that's listening right now that if you ain't go to Something in the Water 2019, you played yourself.
I know I did. You're talking to me.
I'm sorry. I don't mean for y'all to feel attacked. You know I love you. But I say that because I also want y'all to really be on your shit for 2020 and get your tickets. Because when I say Pharrell and company put together a good ass festival, it was really good from start to finish. Lineup, pricing, scheduling, just logistically on the beach. There were upwards of 30,000, 40,000 people out there, but it never felt that packed unless you were decided you want to be up where the stage was. You know, it could get a little thick there, but even still, the beach is such a good venue for a music festival.
That's interesting.
It's really
how so? How would you because I would think that people would, because it's you can't really sit down on the beach, or you can't. Well, unless you have chairs or whatever. But,
so that is actually a good point to make. So the way that they had it set up is they had like miles of beach.
Mm.
And the stage was at one end. Then you had like what seemed like miles of space for people to stand in.
Yeah.
But then you also had like a big monitor like midway down the beach. So if you ain't feel like being in the fray, you could still catch what was going on the stage on a big monitor.
Yeah.
And in that area, people had beach towels, stuff like that, chairs, people were sitting down and things like that. And then that's where all like the vendors and stuff were as well. It's it was just a really, it's hard to explain without you being there, but
Thanks
when
again.
you but like when you came in,
Yeah.
like there were like all the like food and liquor vendors and like just all I can describe it as is miles because I know it wasn't feet, but it was like it was miles of like space for you to like, you know, get your drinks, get your food, you know, post up, parlay. Then they had a big screen, and then there were miles, and there was like the stage and the other stuff.
Yeah.
So it was just very well organized. It was great to see so many people come out on Saturday because unfortunately we got rained out on Friday, but even then Pharrell gave us some coins back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and that doesn't always happen for festivals.
No,
or
I was
concerts
gonna
in
say
general.
one thing that I saw that really pleasantly surprised me was the fact that like after it ended up raining that Friday, they said that they were gonna give people their money back. That to me was like, oh, like this is something serious.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. No, so I wasn't able to go. It's not that I didn't want to go or didn't have the desire to go or even the means to go, but I just had things going on that weekend. Like I had people coming up for Broccoli City. I didn't go for myself, but they ended up staying with me.
Right.
I had like other like work events, things of that nature, that I had to take care of. So I couldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
Not for lack of wanting.
Right.
But no, I just and something that I saw tweeted and then ended up retweeted was like, you know, someone tweeted something to the effect of like, even without having been there as a Virginia native, like I'm just very proud of what Pharrell was able to do, of the fact that he chose Virginia Beach, where he's from, to have this type of festival, and the fact that, you know, I heard like there were really no major arrests, nobody was like getting to fighting or like anything, which like for Virginia Beach is rare. So,
Hello.
that just says to me that it was a festival where everyone was there to have a good time, and that good time was probably had from what I saw in the clips and just talking to you. So
absolutely, and I mean the fact that Pharrell also wanted to put that festival in place intentionally to counter some of those like byproducts, because it was scheduled for like I think it's Black Beach Weekend or College Beach Weekend, one of the two.
Yeah.
And they said Pharrell intentionally did that because the past couple of years during that weekend there's been a number of like arrests or like, you know, people just not being all congregated in a place without anything to do.
Right.
And so there's like mayhem ensues. But they said that like one of his reasons for wanting to do that was you know, to kind of counter that. And I think that that's dope when it's like, okay, this is my community, and even though I've made so much money, I'm a global star now, I could not care, but I care enough to try to put something in place that gives people something to do, that also allows them to have a good time. And I think that he was very intentional in doing that, and he achieved the goal. And he's also, through the festival, has invested in the city. So
yes, I was gonna say that brings money into and revenue into the city. So
yeah, like you could tell he was working closely with the city because the shuttles that they were using, a number of them were Virginia Beach City school buses.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So it's like I love that, and being a Virginia natives as we are, like, it's just amazing to see.
Yeah.
But you did bring up something like another local festival. So I was wondering, like, did you hear anything about Broccoli City?
I did.
How that was?
Yeah, no. So I had people, my sister came up for Broccoli City, and she was there. I think she enjoyed the experience. I think that maybe perhaps people in Something in the Water might have enjoyed their experience a little bit more.
That sometimes happens.
But I think it was just like the split. You know what I'm saying? I think that in having Broccoli City and Something in the Water the same weekend, it kind of split the Virginia DMV black populace, you know. But no, I mean, I think it still ended up being good, you know. I think she still ended up enjoying herself.
Okay, good.
But it might have been a little bit different if they weren't the same weekend. So I don't know. Maybe that means, I don't know. For next year, I don't know how they're going to work that out or what they're going to end up doing. Because it's crazy because in the month of April, there was Coachella, Broccoli City, and Something in the Water.
And Dreamville.
I was about to say. So I don't know what that means for next year. I don't know if anybody's going to even want to move things around and just keep it the same. But as far as people prioritizing what they want to do,
I mean, because I think I'm pretty sure Something in the Water is going to be the same weekend.
Okay.
So I definitely think that Broccoli City may make a move, which
is interesting because they've been around for
right.
Oh wow.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But I think it would, from where I sit and having been to both.
Right. Okay.
I think it would be a smarter move for Broccoli City to make the move.
Okay. And I mean,
because Pharrell is going to be able to,
yeah,
just through his industry connections alone, he's going to be able to secure the artists that Broccoli City would want.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
Here's my thought on it. I think the crowd that would be split will be more split between Broccoli City and Something in the Water than they would from Coachella. So they could arguably do one of those things the same weekend as Coachella and still get a good number of people because ain't nobody flying all the way out to California unless they really have the coins like that or they really are seeing somebody that they want to see. So
we're just not always guaranteed to have like black artists or and not saying that black people only like black artists, but we're not guaranteed to. The better way to put it we're not always guaranteed to have headlining R&B hip hop artists for Coachella that would make people from this region, the population, you said, that would go to one of those festivals be interested in going to Coachella.
So we'll see. But I mean, I'm interested in and proud of all of it.
I agree.
I'm really glad that Pharrell was able to pull it off because a lot of people had, people were talking about, Fire Festival and this is gonna be a scam or something like that. But those same people are the same ones that are upset that
missed out.
There. So
I said one Fire Festival and Something in the Water won't gonna be the same because we actually got our tickets before we got there. We also didn't have to fly to a private island. Right. It was Virginia Beach. Yeah. So at the very least, let's say the festival fell through.
It was gonna be some shit of niggas at the beach in Georgia.
We're gonna make a way of find one. Right. So yeah. But it was great. So next year, Something in the Water 2020. I hope to see all of you out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So what we typically do is save the new music for last, but there's only a couple new things of new music that we have to talk about, so we might as well just get it out of the way. I can start with Chris Brown. So Chris Brown has a new album that's supposed to be coming out called Indigo. So actually, fun fact, we're recording this on Chris Brown's birthday.
Happy 30th, Chris.
Yeah. And we were talking about him last time, cheers to him. Because for better or worse, Chris Brown is somebody that is within our community and within our culture, and has been for decades at this point.
I mean, a decade.
Yeah. No, I would say. I mean, his first album was out in 2005. That is a decade and then some. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's the 2000s and the 2010s. I would say.
I mean, I was just like, the nigga just turned 30. He ain't been out for 25 years.
You're right. Either way, Chris Brown is somebody that has been at least in the game for a while. We can say over 10 years, which is 8 feet. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
And consistently, for better or worse, he's been around.
Yeah.
But he has a new album. It's funny because he's turning 30 today. But his album Indigo is going to have 30 tracks, I think, in celebration of the 30, and we have some folks in here rolling their eyes.
So I was about to say.
Yeah, we have a couple folks in here the same way that we had for a couple of our other episodes, just kind of enjoying our space and our time.
Yes,
giving some visual cues.
So if you see us laugh, you just know that it's not just the two of us clowning. We got 3 other folks in here to clown with us.
But you know, after what is it, Heartbreak on a Full Moon, which was like 47, maybe
45 initially, and then it went up
Okay.
to 57
Jesus
when he
Christ.
released.
Yeah, the
Christmas.
12. Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Dropping popcorn. But so it's supposed to be 30 tracks, which is better, but at the same time, like, just, you know, but I mean, in fairness, he's supposed to have her on the album. I think he's supposed to have Tory Lanez on the album. Allegedly, there's swirling around that Drake is going to be on the album, which would be interesting.
Because they have a very interesting relationship, I thought.
They do. But, I mean, you know, us at On That Note podcast are going to listen to the album. And
We definitely
let you
are.
know what we think. But
I listen to everything Chris Brown puts out.
I do too, and I do think that it's going to be a good album. Might take me a couple of weeks to get through it because my attention span. But you know, good on him, and hopefully it has some good substantive music for us to sink our teeth into, and not just, you know.
Yeah, that's all I've been wanting for Chris, because I'm like, I feel like he's so much talented than his material at time gives him, and I feel like we've said this before.
Yes.
It's just like Trey Songz. And I'm going to be tough on both of them because they're from Virginia.
Right.
So it's like, y'all are representing us, and y'all are both talented. So, like,
Show out.
yeah, do what the fuck you need to do. Y'all can sing about more than pussy
Right.
and liquor and money. Like,
Right.
y'all both have the range, vocally and content-wise. to
And
do more.
emotionally. They've
Because
both
y'all have done it.
Yeah.
Y'all have done it before.
And they've had life experiences that would lend to them talking about something more thick and substantive. So, anyway. There's also some music from someone else. Would you like to? Brandon, go ahead and.
Yes. So Ari Lennox just announced that her debut album is coming out next Friday.
Okay.
I think I'm pretty sure it's next Friday.
So it will be fresh by the time I think this album or
this episode drops. Yeah. So I'm excited. Ari Lennox, my sister put me on the Ari Lennox, like, ooh. When did Fire come out? I'm pronouncing it Fire because it's spelled like Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like what, 2016?
Okay.
2015, 2016? Something like that. But whenever that EP dropped, my sister like sent it over to me like, you need to listen to this. And I did, and I was like, yo, she is freaking dope.
Yeah.
You know, if you haven't heard Ari Lennox music, one, what the hell are you waiting on? Go turn it on right now. But she's just a really dope artist. Like, if you like a Janae Aiko, if you like Erykah Badu, if you like, you know, heck, even if you like that Ryan Destiny song I was telling y'all about, like, that's kind of like in a similar vein to the type of music Ari Lennox makes.
Yeah.
It's very much so vibe music, but lyrically rich, and she just has a really good voice. And I've seen her live twice, actually. She came out at a festival I went to back in the fall, but then she was on the Essence lineup in 2017 when I went. And she held her own against fans like your Jasmine Sullivan's, your Shaka's, your Fantasia's. Like, she was up there like singing alongside, like, maybe Fantasia wasn't there that year, whoever, you know what I mean?
We'll just assume that Fantasia was there that
so
year.
Like, I've been to festival to Essence the past 2-3 years straight, so sometimes I mix up the lineups, but Ari Lennox held her own.
It's interesting because I think she's now touring with Masego. And both Ari Lennox and Masego have been While You Were Sleeping artists for You and Me, respectively.
Very true.
So it's very cool that they're now collaborating with each other.
Oh my God, look at you making that connection. I hadn't even thought that. Yeah, because there was just video that I saw J. Cole had retweeted it, where she's performing her newest single, I think it's called Up Late.
Okay.
With Masego, she's performing it with him, but I think Masego is featured on another song on her album.
Possibly, because what I saw was, I think he maybe tweeted it like a part of her performance or whatever, and was saying like she's just Masego did because he was just saying she's so dope and like how she sounds just like she does on a record.
Yeah, she does.
It's just like, it's amazing. So
that's rare for the girls.
Yeah, yes it is. So it's comforting to see those up and coming artists collaborating with each other and making some great music together. That's great.
And she's from DC, so
right.
How can we not love her?
Absolutely. So the last thing we're gonna get into in gossip, folks, before we get into some questionnaires from our adoring fans, if you will. We're gonna talk about Billboard for a little bit. We won't talk about it long because by the time y'all hear this, right, it will be a couple weeks old, and like you said, not that much. What I will say is, I saw Sierra's performance.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw. Well, we're talking about her later. I saw Paula Abdul, which, you know, like,
let me tell you about
for better or worse, she is the age that she is, and she performed the way that she performed, which was good for her. And that is what I will say about that. Because I think that she did well. Like,
that was the
dancing,
nicest, shadiest thing
and she was...
Period.
I just felt like she did what she needed to do. You know, I mean, I don't think the girls aren't here for it.
I agree.
The girls aren't here for it.
She was a great girl.
I agree with you, Calvin.
I mean,
it was good for what she was.
She did
She was
as well as
lip singing.
So?
Oh well, she was
She
lip
never
syncing
even
these,
know
but
her
you know,
voice.
like, okay, so this is, and it's funny that we brought this up because. So we're talking about Sierra. We're talking about Paula Abdul. This is where Paula Abdul got it right.
Okay.
Where Sierra got it wrong. Now follow me for a second.
Okay, I will.
Because last time we were here, I think we were talking about Sierra. We were talking about her new single, "Thinking About You," and we
I
were
said
saying
I wasn't here for it.
Neither of us were.
That's right.
And Sierra performed that song, and you know she was doing her dancing, and she danced well enough. But you know, like, Paula Abdul lip syncing her songs, doing whatever she needs to do to get through a performance, like. We don't know Paula Abdul as a vocalist. So if you're going to lip sync and give me the dancing performance of your life, you know what I'm saying? And it's songs that, like, are bops. You know what I'm saying? Like, she did, what is it?
Straight Up?
Opposites Attract.
Okay.
Yeah, she may or may not have done Straight Up, but, you know, she did a little animated cat, whatever. Whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's like, we don't need you to sing. At least personally.
Okay.
Like, if you're going to dance. But what Sierra... I just feel like she needs to do more songs that would lend herself. And it's funny because I went to... And maybe I'm having this reaction because recently I went to, like... So, you know, like, Orange Theory, like, the little, like, fitness class or whatever.
Yeah.
So they were playing, like... They played, like, Work by Sierra. They played, like... What is this song? Give Me That Bass by Sierra. And it's just, like, I need Sierra in that space always. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I need for her to do. So this Thinking About You track is just like, I don't, and even with the dancing, it's just like, you're not really, you could be giving me a lot more if this song was not this song. Or if you were if what you're giving to me musically lent itself to more choreography, to more entertainment than actually just trying to sing. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't know.
Honestly, what I'm bothered about with Sierra is I feel like she's making music that she's not connected to. Okay. Like, she's making music, it's just like, this is another song, but Sierra, like, there's a market difference in, for someone that's a performer, if they're not feeling the song they're performing to, then it's a different level of energy that you're gonna get versus like, this is my shit and I'm about to give it to y'all. You know what I mean? And I just haven't felt that from Sierra. I'm not doing it. Someone in the audience said ever. I don't know.
No.
But I think that, like, even last year when Sierra performed at the Billboard Awards and did Level Up, that was still a pretty
and that
good
that is,
performance.
I mean, as rudimentary and repetitive as that song is, that is her wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is where Sierra lives.
No,
so,
Sierra has the range to do a promise.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
So it's just like, she got to get with the right producers. I don't know who she working with, but Max Martin and them ain't hitting it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's Max Martin, but she needs to get back with Polo the Don.
Yes.
Jazzy Faye.
Yes.
Missing.
Yeah.
Like, get some real bitches on the job, Sierra,
Seriously.
because this shit is not hitting.
Yeah. So,
And
I
I'm
mean,
tired.
the only other things going on at the Billboard Awards were Cardi winning, what did she win, like 6?
She won 6,
awards?
my girl
Yeah.
won 6.
And then I think Drake won something ridiculous.
He won 12.
12, yeah. So he now has, I think, like 27 Billboard Awards.
I just don't know where he had 12 songs. Like,
yeah.
how did he win 12?
Scorpion,
Like, and
I
it's
guess.
no shade because
Yeah.
I said before on the show, I have a love-hate relationship with Drake.
Same.
Like, I love Drake, but just sometimes I be over Drake.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I really be loving Drake.
Of course.
But I just don't know. I mean, Scorpion would have been good if he wouldn't have made it a double album.
Okay.
And then I could have seen more so where he won 12 Billboard Awards. But I mean, maybe his songs just hit like that. Because Billboard Awards are usually more so based off of, I want to say, sales and fans.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's based. Drake just charts. You know what I'm saying?
does.
For better or worse, Drake just charts. Like, he just consistently
That's
charts.
true.
And if you're talking about the Billboard Awards, he lives on the Billboard. So
Which is why it made sense. I don't know why people were surprised that Cardi took home so many awards.
exactly.
You want to talk about 2018 being somebody's year?
This isn't the Grammys. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just like we're talking about popularity more than anything.
Exactly.
Like, who is listening to what the most? And Cardi is one of those people, and Drake is one of those people.
Yeah.
What I will say, a callback to last episode, apparently there's a rumor going around that he's supposed to be on the Big Old Freak.
Not here for it.
Me neither.
Not here
I don't
for
need
it.
it. I just don't need it. And
Who
the
would
thing
you
is,
rather see on there after
Trina.
you finish? Trina?
yes, who? Are you thinking of a male artist or a
I'm
female
thinking
artist?
of both.
Okay, well, let me do a female too, or a male too. So do your female one.
So I said I could see Kim on the track like
That-
that.
okay,
Because I
both
think
of
like
them.
that track
Yeah.
gives me like a classic like
Yes.
Lil Kim. I could see her on there.
So males,
Thanks.
Trina.
yeah, no. So
Good
definitely
artist.
Trina is my female one, but I would say like as far as a guy is, the thing about it, I'll tell you why not Drake. You know, like, and it's like
because
the
he
thing
won that
is,
Summer Walker remix.
it's like that, and just he does as much as sexy as I think people find Drake, myself included, at some points in time.
Right.
Like he
Only when he has a beard.
I don't see him doing like that song, that beat.
He doesn't have
musically.
the flow
He doesn't
for it.
have it. Like I don't see him doing what he needs to do on that track specifically. And so it's just like I understand that he would essentially put her on. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying
Yeah.
that Drake would like Drake being on a Megan track would essentially ascend her, if you will. But as far as somebody, let's see, a male artist. I don't know.
I can go first.
Go ahead.
So I hadn't thought of this until somebody tweeted it, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Fuck, I can see that."
Yeah.
Ludacris.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Ludacris' pocket right
Yeah,
there. Like,
it is.
how many times has he done a song like Big Ol' Freak?
Yes.
Lucas.
No,
and-
seriously.
which
That's
is
interesting. That's
Big Ol' Freak.
interesting. I'll bring that.
Right.
I'm gonna bring him
Right.
back.
Up later.
You said
Back
what
up
you
later.
got?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
your fantasies?
But definitely, yeah. And Splash Waterfalls.
Yeah. So Ludacris, he has it. He has the range.
Yes, he does. He does.
And even-
Both from the South.
Okay,
Like,
right. And you need either somebody that's gonna be able to tap into like that southern kind of flow.
Bun B, Trick Daddy.
I do not want to hear Trick
no,
Daddy.
I don't.
I think
No.
Bun B,
At least
he has
Bun
been smooth.
B
He has been
could.
smooth enough. I feel
I
like
could
he
see
has
that,
been
and
smooth
that's
enough.
Texas.
You know,
But Chopped and Screwed version.
maybe,
Wu-Tang
maybe,
jumped on.
maybe.
Method Man.
Yeah,
Big Crit.
that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh,
If it's not gonna be Ludacris, it might be Big Crit.
Oh.
Yeah. but either way,
I would love to hear that verse.
not Drake. So
No.
So yeah.
But Drake jumped and
But-
eliminated people like that.
But
I did not.
I didn't either.
yeah.
You ruined that too.
But I mean, okay. And then the last thing we're gonna do before we get into some of our questions, and one of our questions is Billboard related.
Mhm.
But I just want to drag Taylor Swift really quickly.
Let's do
So
it.
there was this headline. I think it was from Gossip that called Taylor Swift Beyonce's Tethered, and I had that thought before I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is just confirmation.
But she's not even good enough.
Because, right, exactly. I was like, I had the thought, and then I was just like, no, she's not even worth being like. But she is absolutely the basic white girl's Beyonce. Like, she absolutely is. And this is why, like, for whatever reason, she is so super popular. I don't think she's that. I think even among white artists, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was looking at other performances. Like, I like the fucking Jonas Brothers' new song better than I like Taylor Swift.
Baby, I love that new
Because
Jonas Brothers.
because I'm just like,
And I like what the
not-
Jonas Brothers did individually, but that's another.
she's just
conversation.
not. Like, this new song that she has, first of all, before we even get into this Billboard performance, what is it beyond, like, the background track to a Verizon commercial? Like, it's just not a good song. It's just not creative. It's not inventive.
I think
like,
you
she's
gave her
not
too
doing
much with
anything.
Verizon.
Yeah. Cricket. What are you doing?
Cricket. But, like, it's background music at best. And then you get into this performance where she's so clearly, I don't care what anyone in the entire world says, she's so clearly bit off of this Beyonce home.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and it's just like, in the worst type of, because the thing about Taylor Swift, this is what I really hate about her as an individual. She is, like, the worst thing about her is not that even she's, like, overtly racist or, you know what I'm saying, like, any of those types of things. She is the worst type of white person because she is uninvolved. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's nothing. Like, she doesn't care one way or the other. She has no opinion one way or the other. She just exists. And that's the worst type of white person because only white people are able to exist in that space where it's just like, I'm just living. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, that Beyonce performance was so cute. Like, can we try something like that? Without even realizing the effect that it would have. Without even realizing how harmful that would be. Right, exactly. It's like, legitimately, I don't think that it was a thing of biting as much as a thing of her being like, oh my God, that's so cute. Can we do something similar? Like, literally. And that was it. And then that became the performance. And that's just like, that says to me, because even racists, for the most part, know why they're racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't care about anything. You don't understand why you do anything that you do, which just makes you, like, a waste of space.
I mean, honestly, and this is like the part of, let me just say it like this first. More than any, the most alignment I see between two artists in terms of Taylor Swift is I think Taylor Swift is the white female Drake.
Okay.
Because, and I say that because they are both very, very popular.
Okay.
They both, whenever they put out music, it's just gonna sell.
Yeah.
But neither one of them gets very political in their, you know what I'm saying?
Sure,
like,
sure,
neither
sure,
one of them really
yeah.
involve themselves in social conversations.
No, that's fair.
And that's exact right. Ooh, we ain't ready for that conversation yet. But like, you know, so I see a lot of alignment there, and what I think is much in the same way that we're talking about a Drake hopping on a Megan Thee Stallion song or something like that. People that exist in that space will tend to latch onto whatever is hot.
Yes.
So like the Homecoming performance, like the Homecoming movie and album, the Coachella performance from last year, like that's just
what's hot right now.
You know what I'm saying? And so the fact that Taylor Swift, like, of course she bit off of Beyonce.
Right.
Of course she's trying to eat off Beyonce. Taylor Swift has been able to eat off Beyonce for 10 years at this point. Because who gave Taylor Swift a platform?
Right.
Beyonce did.
Yes.
Beyonce shared her.
But
her
that's why.
stage with
That's
her
why. So the
after
whole
that Kanye thing.
But the whole tethered thing is what's interesting to me because that's where the connection comes from, and that's why she's like the anti-Beyonce, because it's like for the people, mostly white, that don't see it for Beyonce because she's a strong black woman, who they will see it for is Taylor. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I'm gonna be a feminist but like not a womanist because I don't support anybody outside of white feminism. It's just like I'm gonna support this white girl because Beyonce just doesn't really do it for me, or she's a little too ethnic, or like she does a little bit too much. She had that Black Panther outfit on. I just couldn't really deal with that, so I'm just gonna go up for Taylor. And it's just like that's literally what it is. Like Taylor Swift has made her career off of being not Beyonce. So it's just like, yeah. And so
that's true.
That is very true. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that Kanye was able to do successfully within the last few years is call Taylor out for being Taylor.
Multiple times, actually.
Yeah, right.
He
So
had a song about it.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like that is one thing that I will see it for him for, just
Yeah.
kind of being anti-Taylor, because I am too.
Yeah.
Because it's just like,
coincidentally,
nah.
that's the one thing I'll see Kim Kardashian. I'll see that for her too.
Right.
When she was like, "Oh well, let me play these voicemails."
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
I mean, Taylor Swift. So I ain't gotta give her too much.
No,
I appreciate
I
some
won't give
things
her much
about
more.
some of her music, but honestly, Taylor Swift gonna be alright.
Exactly. Without me having to go up for her.
Exactly.
So, middle fingers up.
Let's get
So before we get into, and this is a nice kind of transition into our questions, because we have a couple. But so this is a question that has to do with the Billboard Awards, right?
All right. So let me stop stuffing my face, y'all. This spike
we have
is it.
and it's kind of a yeah. I was about to say, like, if you can see in the video, like, between the two different buckets, we have like half of the spike cheddar left, as opposed to like maybe 2/3 of the other one. So we're messing this up. So go ahead and
all
get that.
good, but this spike cheddar, if I had to identify a favorite,
It's preposterous. Absolutely. I'm gonna have to order some of this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Facts.
But so we were talking about, and something that Brandon likes to do a lot is like this here to there type of thing.
Yes.
Where you talk about artists and you talk about projects that kind of took them from here to there.
Mm-hmm.
And because Mariah Carey won the Billboard Icon Award,
Yes, she did. Well deserved.
Well deserved. We want to talk about her. We want to talk about the project that kind of brought her from here to there. So one thing that I will say, so I watched her acceptance speech, and it just was very heartfelt to me, because she was talking about, how she grew up on the charts, but she was also talking about how her fans have more often than not, like, really saved her.
Yeah.
And I think that's really sweet, and I think that that's very real. I believe her when she says that, because, we kind of all go through things, and Mariah, as we now know, has gone through, more than maybe most. And to be able to have music as that outlet and not really knowing, she said she wouldn't have known what she would have done without music. I think that that's really beautiful, and for her to have given us so much that speaks to our own lives and all of that. It was really pleasant to see. But the question is, and I'm almost certain we're gonna have the same answer.
I'm sure.
The album, the project that took Mariah from here to there. So.
Oh, we might not actually.
Yeah.
Well.
We might not.
I mean, because I'm trying to because I also want to talk about my favorite Mariah Carey album, right?
Okay.
No, I'm trying to make sure I'm not conflating the two, but
we can talk about it. I mean, on the count of three, we can say the one that is probably the one that I am thinking of. So 1, 2, 3.
Emancipation of Mimi.
Right. But before we get to that, what's your favorite Mariah album?
So my favorite Mariah album is Butterfly.
Yeah. No, I love that one too.
And I love that album because that's where Mariah she was at that transition point in her personal life, which also impacted her professional life, which happens when you're married to the CEO of your record label.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she got to that critical career stage where it was like now that this relationship has ended, I get to be me and my full authenticity and do what I want to do. And that's where you saw, before the Butterfly album, she collaborated with ODB on a Fantasy remix, but I want to say that was was there another hip hop feature on the?
Are you talking about Jay-Z? Was it Heartbreaker on Butterfly?
Heartbreaker was on the Rainbow.
Rainbow.
But she did the ODB remix to Fantasy, and then
What was Honey on?
She had a remix with Missy and the Brat, but I think
That was the
same
Always
one.
Be
That
My
was
Baby.
always.
And that was on the Butterfly album.
Right.
Yeah.
So to that point, I was thinking like Butterflies. When you see her from there on, she really gets into like her hip hop bag.
Yes.
Like she had
Yeah.
multiple hip hop features on her albums. Her music became a lot more R&B. You know what I'm saying? And just that album, there's just so many good moments on that Butterfly album
Yeah.
that I think that the Mariah that we know now, like that is, we know Mariah as more than just a pop princess now.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like her first couple of albums really cemented that. She really showed her range musically on Butterfly, and moving forward, that was like a turning point for her. So that's like my favorite Mariah album. My favorite Mariah song is on that album.
Yes.
In terms of Breakdown featuring Bone Thugs.
Yeah.
I love that album.
I mean, Emancipation of Mimi, though, to kind of switch it up a little bit, is the reason why I forever will love Mariah Carey. Like, Mariah Carey is the reason why, or Emancipation of Mimi is the reason why I fell in love with Mariah Carey.
Absolutely.
Like, that album. Like, she just, what she was able to do with that album, just from start to finish, is just, like, insane. Like,
Absolutely.
like I mean, even starting, like, having the first track on the song, on the album be It's Like That, like, and you already said the way that it starts and the way that it ends, like,
oh, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Because the way that it ends.
yeah.
Fly Like a Bird.
Yeah.
So if I said Breakdown is like my favorite Mariah Carey song, Fly Like a Bird is like number 2.
Yeah.
Like they are, and they could really change positions. Like they're
At
in the
any
top
given time,
3.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and so Emancipation of Mimi will always mean a lot to me as an album, because even though it had come out a couple of years before, when I was in undergrad, there were 2 albums that I would always listen to whenever I had to like do writing assignments.
Okay.
And it's funny because I usually can't write with music
Yeah.
that has lyrics because I'm gonna be too caught up in singing.
Right.
Mariah Carey, Emancipation of Mimi,
Yeah.
and Growing Pains by Mary J. Blige.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny because I am the same way. Like, if it's not like, what I used to do is listen to like jazz songs, just like Miles Davis and stuff like that when I was working on papers. But I think with an album like that, you know it so well that you're not really paying attention as much because it's just like getting you through it. You know?
Exactly.
So
and
I
the
definitely-
sequencing on that project
Yeah.
is like,
insane, ridiculous.
yeah, like,
Iconic.
yeah, that's a straight through album. Both of those are straight through albums, but Mariah, I love her to pieces.
Absolutely.
That was the one part of the award show that I tuned into. And we were just, so me and one of our lovely audience members right now, a friend of the show, if you will, and y'all have heard me mention her name a couple times, but Evangeline, we were sitting there, we were talking about Mariah on FaceTime, and we were just talking about, like, Mariah always gave the girls vocabulary.
Yeah.
Like, like she always gave us vocabulary, and she really, as someone that, you know, writes poetry, that writes songs, stuff like that now, like, and even, like, I would say she probably, like, started me on wanting to write songs and stuff like that. Like, Lacey Hughes is my poetry muse. Like, that's who made me want to, like, explore that, like, style of writing. But Mariah Carey made me feel like I could turn my poetry into music.
Yeah.
And it was just because I was like, wow, like, her, the way she uses words is so, like, fascinating.
Them chickens is action on lotion. Definitely was a moment.
Go. Oh, wait.
But no, like, think about how many times have your parents told you to find your words? Like,
Yeah.
that's somebody
Yes.
that actually utilized that philosophy and that principle is to, okay, let me find my words. Because you're going to get exactly how I'm feeling. And when you listen to Mariah Carey, you get exactly how I'm feeling. Like, circles.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Your girl. Like,
Oh,
you're talking about songs that were back to back to each other, and they both put you in a different mood of crush. You know?
I ain't lying to you.
100%.
Oh,
100%.
Ooh, I love her.
Love Mariah. Love Mariah. So, we can get into some kind of quick. We have some
One Gotta Goes.
One Gotta Goes.
That's what I
sent
heard.
in. Yeah. No, we do. We have them actually from another friend of the show, Mr. Quentin.
Hey, Q.
So we're gonna do a couple of these One Gotta Goes.
That was a
So
little
let's see. I'm gonna save this one for last because that's very difficult.
Okay.
Let's do the easy one first. So One Gotta Go. Jamie Foxx, Tyrese, Joe, or Tank.
Tyrese.
Great. Same, probably.
And I like Tyrese, but if I'm just thinking holistically, like
If I have to pick somebody different, it would be Joe, only because I think
I
do love Joe, but as far as songs growing up, that might be a lie.
Okay.
It might just have to be Tyrese.
That's very much.
Yeah, I will say, just for Tyrese, to give him a little bit, I love Signs of Love Making. That's one of my favorite songs. That's still on the playlist.
no, don't get me
But
wrong.
yeah,
And Lady.
So
Yeah.
like when it comes to like One Gotta Goes, I always tell people my criteria is if I appreciate everybody's music, if they're all musical artists and I appreciate all of their music, then I have to move on to another set of criteria. So I enjoy all of their music.
yeah. It's
So
the
then it's like
personality.
the personality.
Yeah,
Right.
Fair.
The one I would least like to be in the room having a conversation with is probably Tyrese.
Absolutely. Next, so this one R&B group gotta go.
Oh.
You ready?
Oh Lord.
Drew Hill,
Ah.
Jodeci, Boyz II Men, Jagged Edge.
Jagged Edge. Bye.
I was gonna say the same. You can't do
Jagged
that,
Edge
but I'm gonna
vibe.
have to say Jagged Edge.
Sorry.
Just personally,
First
as
off-
far as this is what I'm coming from. I'm coming from my own personal life experiences with music that I was exposed to as a child. I was not exposed to as much Jagged Edge as you was exposed to. So
Wow, I don't even know who I'm sitting on.
I know,
Oh.
but I have to do it because no other.
But it is hard with that list.
Yeah.
But honestly, even though it's hard, it ain't hard.
The one that you're gonna pick is probably the next one that I would pick, if not Jagged Edge. What were you gonna say?
No, Drew Hill
I
is saying.
honestly, it would have to be Drew Hill
You think
because
so?
What?
well, it's either Drew Hill or Jodeci.
How
I
you
was
want to
gonna
get
say
rid of
Jodeci.
Jodeci? There wouldn't be any other groups on this list if it wasn't for
No,
Jodeci.
not
Boyz
Boyz
II
II
Not
Men
Boyz
is the
II
one.
Men.
Boyz II
Not
Men is
Boyz
the
II
one that
Men.
you cannot get rid of, but
Yeah.
Jodeci is
You can't
definitely
get
number
rid of-
2.
You can't
It
get
is
rid
a
of
fight
Yeah.
out between Drew Hill and Jagged Edge.
That's fair.
Jodeci shouldn't even be in the conversation being gotten
No.
out.
Maybe.
But honestly though, but let's think about it though.
cannot get
Of
rid
all of
No,
those
that's why
people,
Jodeci stayed.
Who had more than 2 good albums?
Jodeci,
No.
they had 3.
Yes.
They had a trilogy.
The
The
show,
the after party,
party.
they doubled this set. They
Okay, wait a minute.
freaking
Actually, what was Freaky was on that?
Yes.
Never mind. Jodeci.
Exactly.
I said Drew Hill
You
first.
see me looking at you. Okay, I just want to be right. Cause
All right,
whoa,
Okay, yeah,
it's Jodeci.
It's Drew Hill. Drew
Okay.
Hill.
Okay.
And I love Drew Hill, and he, from the area.
I think I love
Exactly.
Cisco.
And that's why I gotta be Jagged Edge. Like you said, all talented.
Right. Yeah.
Which is why this next one,
Oh boy.
It's gonna be hard.
One Gotta Go, and all of their work
Oh God.
and associated acts.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number
this gonna be
1.
hard.
But without even hearing anybody, right?
Uh-huh.
Number 1, Berry Gordy. Number 2, Quincy Jones.
Oh fuck no.
They're the
Number
same.
3, Diddy.
Oh.
Number 4,
Hi.
Babyface.
Bye.
Bye Diddy.
Bye, Diddy.
He did Making the Band.
Bye,
and
Diddy.
all of them can go.
We could have.
That's why we
I
never
love
did.
Biggie to
Leave
death.
them alone.
Yes!
I love
Are
Biggie
you
to death.
kidding me?
But that's all Diddy.
But we getting rid of 112. We getting rid of Faith. We getting rid of Kim. We getting rid of Biggie. We getting
Mary
rid
J.
of Total. We getting rid of Mary. We getting rid of all of them.
All of them
if
are
you
on-
get rid of Barry,
No.
if you get rid of Barry
They
Gordy,
were on
you wouldn't have
Uptown
had
Records.
any of these black
Yeah, we
acts.
can't get rid of.
They were not on Bad
Hold
Boy. I'm
Hold
talking
on.
about people who were on
Hold
Bad
on.
Boy records.
Hold
They
on.
No,
got-
it's that all of their
The criteria.
associated acts.
The criteria is associated acts.
So you're in the lobby and I'm an associated act because you worked at Uptown because I
No,
was
no,
like
no,
there?
no, no,
But he
no.
executive produced Mary's album. He executive produced Jodeci's album. He executive produced like all those people.
You're right. Well, they gotta go too.
That's right. Period.
Sorry.
No.
Period. Sorry, they didn't
So
say they
if
do it to you. They
not
gotta
Diddy,
go.
Bye.
if not Diddy, who are we selecting?
Who was the fourth
Brandon.
person?
There is none.
Babyface.
It's Babyface.
Oh no, you know.
It's
Berry
Babyface,
Gordy,
Berry Gordy, Quincy Jones, or
Diddy.
Diddy.
We wouldn't have had
It
to
might
wait until
have- it-
Excel soundtrack.
It might
Bye,
have to
Diddy.
be Diddy.
Bye, Diddy.
It legitimately might have to be.
Yeah.
Because
And
I'm
think of
talking
how
about
long
this-
Kim was
we're
with
talking
Diddy.
about
Kim was
this-
not with Diddy that long, so you ain't losing too much.
But Kim,
She wasn't with Diddy. Diddy did not.
She was never
her
signed
shit.
to Bad Boy, but he was still a
associated with
producer.
her.
He was he produced like her shit.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Right.
Remove
And I might get
association.
dragged for this.
I
I feel it coming.
Yeah.
Barry
But
Gordy?
listen, it's very Gordy
I know.
only because I have to think about it from the perspective of my age.
exactly.
Like I have to
The
think
music
about
that
as
was-
much as I love,
That's
as
not
much
true.
as
But
I
you gotta think of the people they
And I-
sampled
hold on,
because
hold
of
on,
Barry
hold on,
Gordy.
hold
Diddy
on,
sampled
hold on.
all those people.
Hold on, because well, it's that, and that way you
I
get
was gonna
into
say,
like
actually, I can't even do that though because growing up, I feel like I may have talked about this before. Before I started buying contemporary music, I was buying
same.
Motown.
Same.
So I can't get rid of Barry Gordy. Fuck.
You can say by
Honestly,
Quincy because a lot of the jazz.
You can't say by Quincy because he did Michael.
You can say
Yeah, we wouldn't have Thriller.
right.
Yeah. And then you wouldn't
And,
have like
and you would have
we'd
a
be
whole
shit out of luck.
generation of artists.
And
Honestly,
scores.
Babyface.
But what's Thriller really?
No,
What?
we wouldn't have soundtrack.
Oh
Yeah,
shit,
you
we
wouldn't
wouldn't.
have-
No,
Babyface,
ain't nobody going.
So-
It was Diddy.
Quincy, you have officially stumped. No, that no podcast.
But no, Quincy.
We are unable to
Quincy
move
Jones
on
did
to
go.
answer.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't-
Quentin. Yeah.
Yeah.
You said Quentin.
Yeah, I said Quincy. Quentin. I'm sorry.
Quincy. You get off my
You.
porch, bitch.
Yeah.
No.
We ain't got it.
Yeah,
We
no,
ain't
we
got it.
can't do that. Fuck
It's
that.
like
If
each
y'all-
producer
I mean,
was
if
the
you have
precursor
one-
to the next producer. So
if
it's like
you have
this is
one-
possible.
Yeah.
Quentin, if you had one in mind, you can just text me because I would be interested in hearing what who you thought.
I'll be interested in hearing anybody who
Yes.
has like a thought of like one that they could easily get rid of.
And
like,
why.
please write us in and let us know why. And we
So
can
here's
talk
what
about
we're
the
gonna do.
finale.
So we're
I
gonna
can't
read it to
see
you
it.
one more time.
Quincy Jones didn't
One
make
gotta
Michael
go.
Jackson. Michael Jackson existed before Quincy Jones. You
Not as a
really-
solo artist.
Okay,
no, he
but,
did
but
not.
what I'm saying
No, he
about
did
him
not.
being an artist, he was founded by Barry Gordy and the Motown sound.
So he
what I'm
needed
saying is
Barry
that we would
Gordy.
still have Michael Jackson without Quincy Jones.
But we wouldn't have superstar Michael Jackson,
What I-
sweetie.
okay, we
We're
don't
gonna
know
talk
that.
about
However,
this. We could talk about this all day
he
long.
would exist
could.
without Quincy
We
Jones. He
could.
was a star without Quincy Jones. Was he a shining star, a biggest star? Quincy Jones definitely did that,
He's-
but we could definitely put him up for debate for
The
Quincy
question
Jones ain't
is,
Bye bye.
one more time, send in your questions, send in your responses, send in all of your answers.
Yeah.
One gotta go, and all their work and associated acts. We're gonna
Right.
give it to you one more time. Barry Gordy, Quincy Jones, Diddy, and Babyface. You let us know what you think,
Right.
and we're gonna move on
'Cause
to the
we're
next
like,
question.
in the past.
Okay, so
Okay, what's next?
next we have some questions that we're gonna ask each other. And we can just kind of go back and forth with this if you want to.
Okay, wait. We said we both were answering the question.
Yeah, we're gonna both, but as far as asking.
Who gonna ask? Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll put this in the middle.
here you go. And you can ask the first one because I've been talking a lot. So go ahead.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we'll start with this one.
Yeah.
What artist has persisted past their 15 minutes of fame that surprised you?
This is shady.
It is.
So, let me think about that. 15 minutes of fame. Someone that I just didn't think was gonna make it.
Yeah, I agree. That's on
Yeah,
the list.
someone in the crowd said Jeremiah. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. But I think if I was choosing for myself, just someone, I'm trying to think of someone who's persistent, and I'm just like, why?
Oh, you're taking that angle with it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, just someone who is still here, you know. And I'm just like, why are you
still?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't even thinking.
Oh,
about
how
that.
were you thinking about it?
So I was thinking about somebody that like is still around, and it's like, whoa, like I wasn't expecting you to blow up like that.
Oh, but now
okay,
that
like
you're
you
here, I
made
see
it. Yeah.
Well, I guess it would be Migos then. And
Really?
we talked about that before.
We did.
I thought they were going to be another Travis Porter. Like, I thought they were just going to give us a couple tracks to bop to for a couple years and then just kind of fizzle out. I would not have seen them kind of take off, for lack of better words,
In the way that
they have.
That
So,
makes
yeah.
sense too.
Yeah. Who's
For
yours?
me, my answer is Rihanna.
I was thinking her, but I didn't want to say it, but that's
Because,
very
like, honestly, off Ponder Replay, I ain't
Yeah.
think sis was gonna still be with us almost 15 years later.
You're right. You're right.
You know what
but
I'm saying?
even in the way that, and I'm glad that you phrased it.
Lasted longer.
I'm glad that you
Facts.
phrased it in the way that you did because it makes it a little less shady because it's like you're here now and I see it for you because you're doing a lot more than I thought you were going to.
Right.
And I think for both Migos and Rihanna.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
kudos.
All right, so this question. What song, and this is a funny question on multiple levels.
Okay.
What song would you want to conceive, and I put that in quotes because if you know, you know, your first child too? So, what's the song that you put on, and then the very next day, we're putting in the papers for adoption?
Shit. I mean, well, so it's interesting because like, I want kids,
Yeah.
so
This is a fun question. Maybe
It is.
Maybe we want kids, maybe we don't. But we're just talking about the music for now.
okay. So I mean, so I'm just thinking about it in terms of though, like when you said that, it made me think about like, okay, I had to be convinced, and so I was like,
Oh, no.
like I want kids.
Oh no! I just mean like, what is the song that like?
If
it
we
possible-
could make a
Yeah.
baby,
Like this is it. This is
Little
yeah.
baby
And that's the
here.
story when you have your little ones. Like, oh yeah, that's how you got here.
My smart ass kid's gonna be like,
No,
actually
actually not. Actually,
let's
that's
see. God,
Yeah.
dog. Oh, I have a couple of songs I'm like, you know what?
Go for it.
That's what it's made for by Usher.
Okay. Great. I think. So, do you have a couple? Because I might have.
I probably do, yeah.
Okay. Well, one of mine, I'm going back and forth, so I'll just say one of them. So, and they're both Tank, but he has a song, called "When" on Sex, Love, and Pain.
Oh,
Yeah. And yeah,
Jesus.
but yeah. What was your other one?
So my other one would be. I'm thinking through I'm trying to think of like another song that I really like, and I'm trying to think of an artist I haven't maybe talked about before.
Okay.
Because there's a couple of Jagged Edge songs.
Of course.
Let's see. God, dog. This playlist is oh.
Go for it. What is it? I know you found it. I know you did.
Shit. Okay, hold on. The title. The artist is Rihanna.
Yeah. Skin?
No.
Okay.
You can be rough, boy, what you want.
Wait.
Yeah, I said it.
Yes, I said
Uh-huh.
it. Yep. Well, you're gonna have to work quickly. That's a short track.
I mean, this is a playlist.
Yeah, you're right. So like the moment of conception. So
Go look up the lyrics to that song.
Yeah. I love that song too. So I was gonna say another Tank song, but now you make me want to do another artist.
Yeah, give us somebody else.
Okay.
People might be building their playlists.
So there is a song by one Mr. Tonestick called
All roads lead back to Toast.
called "Doing It For Me."
Oh. Okay.
And it does it for me.
Okay.
So there is I'll play that for you too. We're gonna have a listening party when this episode is over.
For sure.
But there's a run that he does at the end of the second verse going into the second chorus that does it for me, for lack of a better word. So yeah, that would probably be it.
Oh.
But yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I like
so
that question.
yeah, next one.
Hey, so what song title would you use as the title of your autobiography?
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna come at this from a very much like today perspective. Like just what I'm feeling right now, what life is right now. So it's funny. I think I wanted, okay. So it's all gonna be one episode, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So because I'm gonna use what we're using in the Noteworthy.
Ah.
Or make some kind of way.
Okay.
And I mean, if you're on the
I'm here for
video,
it.
you can see our shirts, you can see what we're talking about. And since this is probably the last question before we get into Noteworthy, we can just go ahead and get right into it. Well, how about this? You say yours first.
Okay.
And then I'll do the transition.
I didn't realize that all this build-up was for
I'm
me
sorry.
to have no first. It's cool. Because
I'm
I
sorry.
do, for once, I have
I'm
my
trying
answer.
to have a flow to it.
I
so
get it. I
Go.
fuck with it.
Go for it.
Okay, so mine would be Inner Visions.
By
Stevie Wonder.
Yes. Okay.
So, well, the album by Stevie Wonder is Inner Visions. The song title is Visions.
Yeah.
However, I would use Inner Visions because I've been told on multiple occasions / I recognize this about myself.
Yeah.
I am a very introspective person. So whenever anything happens in my life, I look inward first and try to explore like what did I do, what was my role in whatever happened, and I also try to explore like how I'm feeling about stuff, even if I still sometimes suppress things. Like I still try to remain cognizant of where I'm at emotionally and stuff. But so Inner Visions because my autobiography would be an exploration of my life.
Yeah.
Of course, but it will also be done from a standpoint of sometimes people write autobiographies like and their focus is on external locus of control. So what happened to me?
Right. Yeah.
And my autobiography would be what did I do?
And I love that language. I use that language often. So, yeah. It's as if we were both, like, educated at the same institution of higher learning.
Oh my God. What? Stop with your craziness.
But no, yeah. So mine, and this kind of gets into our Noteworthy. So what we're going to be talking about, for those of you who cannot see our shirts, we're going to be talking about, so actually, take a few steps back. We're going to revisit a theme that we actually did earlier.
Yes.
And one of, I would say, our favorite episodes this season. For
sure.
When we did Waiting to Excel, the music at the movies theme.
Shout out Gabby, who's in the audience today.
So, but the soundtrack that we're going to do, which is on theme, which turns 25 this year.
Wow.
Is the Lion King soundtrack.
Woo!
So yeah, to answer this question before we get into that conversation, so it's not on the, I guess, kind of actual soundtrack, but years later there would be an album that comes out that was like, it's called like the Legacy Collection or whatever, and it's like, it has more of the score on the album. So like, first of all, Hans Zimmer is like one of my favorite composers like of all time. So I just like really love what he's able. So he's the same person that did Prince of Egypt. He's the same person that did like, and I don't know how familiar you are with this, but like the Man of Steel, like in 2013, he composed that as well. So I just loved him for a very long time. But so there is, and the part of it that is on this soundtrack is a part of the score called This Land. It's so silly.
I am.
But so on the Legacy Collection, and this goes more into the song title, it's called Remember Who You Are. And it's the point in The Lion King that most folks remember, when Simba is out in the open field and the clouds open up and he talks to his father or whatever. And his father's telling him to remember who he is. And that has always just been so very popular. Lion King is, and I'm really glad that we're able to talk about this on the show, because Lion King is probably my favorite movie, just period. And that goes to the message and the story and the soundtrack and all that other stuff. But I just always have such an emotional response to that scene, because it's just in a way that is kind of almost, I guess, more spiritual than I would say religious. So one of the things that Mufasa says, like when he's talking to Simba, is like, he says, "You've forgotten me." And he's like, "No, what are you talking about? I can never forget you." And he says, "You've forgotten who you are, and in turn, you've forgotten me."
Ooh,
and I
geez.
think that this is very powerful.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that and the title being "Remember Who You Are," I'm just in a lot of different stages in my life, I'm just constantly having to remind myself of just the belief that I have in myself,
For sure.
and the love that I have for myself, and just like all of that,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I think that would be, right now, if I were to come up with like an autobiography title, that would be what it is.
I like that.
Thanks.
Remember Who You Are.
Yeah.
That's a really dope
So-
title. I would buy that book.
But that takes us right into this noteworthy
Woo!
conversation. So,
Gosh, our last noteworthy album
yeah,
of season 2.
yes. So the Lion King soundtrack came out in
Yes.
'94, obviously.
As did the movie.
Right, exactly. Shorter soundtrack as far as like actual. So the songs that most people remember, they're only like maybe 5 of them, you know, and then the rest
Yeah.
are like score, and then the I guess the pop remakes, if you want to call it that.
Right. So
but yeah.
it's funny because we literally just passed the actual like commemorative or anniversary date.
Yeah.
Apparently it was released on April 27th, 1994.
Wow.
Right. So we're a fresh week out
Yeah, right on time.
from that.
Yeah.
And all music on this soundtrack was composed by Elton John.
Yeah.
Lyrics done by Tim Rice, and
Yeah.
then Hans Zimmer, as you said before,
Right.
did the scores. So you think about just Elton John
Right.
at this point. It's
Yeah.
like,
And he has a biopic coming out this year too.
I cannot. I think it comes out in a few weeks.
Yeah,
Rocket
Man.
Or does it come out later this year?
I'm not sure.
I've been
exactly
seeing
what
the
release date is,
previews.
but the previews are.
I'll be
yeah.
there.
And I also love, what is his name? Taron Egerton. He's the guy that did the Kingsman movies or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, that's him.
He's playing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Kingsman
yeah.
Secret Service was
Yes.
like actual a good
Yeah.
franchise.
Yeah.
Okay, hell yeah, I'm
we're
in
there.
Period.
But yeah, but again, like Elton John, like
You know what, Elton John, y'all might come up in a subsequent later season, but
Absolutely.
yeah. So what you see with this soundtrack, because The Lion King is unique in terms of Disney's like collection of stories
Yeah.
and movies, where I don't know if they outright said it. I don't recall them actually saying it in the movie, but maybe they did, like acknowledging that this story was taking place, you know, in Africa.
Oh
somewhere.
yeah, I mean,
Like,
it is known.
It's
That- like,
it's implied,
yeah.
even though I don't know if they said
But
it.
even in the like, maybe like the plot description, it says something like in the depths of the Serengeti. or
Yes, they
something.
did. Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah,
Okay,
it's known.
Disney.
Yeah, right.
Because you know
exactly.
Disney's
also-
legacy is a little checkered, so we gotta make
But
sure.
yeah, but even in and this goes to what this movie would be able to produce later, and even what is in the movie. You know, there's Swahili and there are languages, languages spoken in Africa that are, it's based in Africa,
Right.
And you know, like even and I mean, I guess some people might have one thing to say about this or another. But before we had a Disney princess, before we had a Tiana, like I think that as a community, this is what we were able to latch on to. Even though it was animals, even though, you know, for better or for worse, you know, and even just the voices, which we'll get into. I think this felt like our movie for Disney, you know?
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because there's another connection that we're gonna make later on,
Okay.
based on an audience member suggestion.
Okay.
So yeah, there's some additional. There's more in the lineage. That's what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
But yeah, do we want to? I mean, loosely, the movie.
Right.
I mean,
If you haven't seen The Lion King.
right. I mean, we can run through it really quickly.
Yeah. So it's based on, or one of the major influences is Hamlet, right? So it's like you have a would-be king, you know, what is it, a prince, what is the proper term? Lord have mercy. It's
like,
because
you talking about like succession?
Yeah, in the terms of succession, it's like a. Oh man, because I literally just saw this word, but it's like a. Because it's like you have like with Prince William and Prince Harry, for example. Prince William is the prince ... But Prince Harry is not because he's the next term. It's like Prince Ascendant
like
or something like that.
Apparent.
Yes, the heir apparent. Yes, thank you so much. This is why. Thank you. So he is the heir apparent.
Black women always save the day.
Literally all the time. So Simba is the heir apparent in this movie with his father Mufasa, but his father's brother Scar, who would have been the next in line in succession, is jealous and a messy
bastard,
bitch.
right?
Yes, who lives for drama.
Scar was a whole evil bitch.
Yes, he was a queen too. Ain't nobody comes out. PB. But
God was just an old nasty bitch. Ooh.
But so he decides that he is gonna take it upon himself, which is also an interesting thing, right? And this goes into, we can talk about that later when we talk about favorite songs.
Mm-hmm.
The nigga he offs Mufasa.
Wait.
Which, let's just take a moment.
Wait.
Because
we're not gonna not minimize Mufasa's murder to a nigga got killed.
But and it, I mean, and it will be, yeah, and it really, it just. So that happens. Simba leaves because Scar convinces him that it's his fault. He has to go on this retreat. Meets, two adoptive dads that take him in, and then
the Bert and Ernie of Pride,
right? Exactly. And then he grows up and comes back and takes what's his.
Period.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, with a little help from another black woman.
Okay.
Yes.
Nala.
Named Nala. But
I mean, I think the beautiful thing about the Lion King, though, all jokes aside, is that it did bring, to your point, an element of like Black African culture to like the mainstream and to the big screen.
Yes.
And the way that we like. Can you think of how many major movies have been set on the continent? You know what I mean?
Right.
Without it being a white savior movie or something like
savages.
Right, a gross misrepresentation.
Right.
And in this story, although it's a story that can exist outside of the setting, I think it's a very apt story to be set in this particular environment and setting, because you have the theme of reclaiming what's yours.
Yeah.
Which, if you think about like the Black American struggle or Black people's struggle globally, we have been on a quest to reclaim what's ours.
Yeah.
So I think like that's another reason, even if we don't always have the language to articulate it that way, I think that's why so many of us latch onto The Lion King.
Right.
And another movie that we'll briefly talk about a little bit later.
And the thing about this movie is like this was the most successful Disney movie until Frozen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, whether it was for us and that's what we do. Same thing with Black Panther, same thing. Like, we create culture. We create shit that people want to see. Us.
We dictate
get
trends.
Out. Yeah. like we just like.
Fenty Beauty, no. The girl started scrambling after Rihanna released Fenty Beauty. Seriously. I'm just saying.
But like in that way,
it's just like
heard
about Kylie Jenner's lip gloss, or like how it was breaking the internet before then. After Fenty Beauty came out, it was like return to culture. Like
right. Exactly. So it's just like the things that we're able to do and create something that are just one of a kind and very unique. And getting into the soundtrack, just the awards that the soundtrack was able to win, right? I mean, like, we're talking platinum. You know what I'm saying? Let me look at this. Diamond. Like, this soundtrack is a diamond, as far as the U.S. is concerned, a diamond certified soundtrack. And so, and then you get into the Academy Awards, Golden Globes, Best Original Score for Hans Zimmer for the Grammys. Best Musical Album for Children. I didn't even realize that was a category.
I wonder if that's still a category, honestly.
I'm not. Yeah. Best Instrumental Arrangement. It was nominated. Yeah, exactly. For what is it? Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Oh. And it was nominated for Circle of Life, Hakuna Matata. And then it won some Golden Globes as well. So it's just like we're talking about a critically acclaimed soundtrack that meant something to so many people and still does, obviously.
Absolutely.
And
so now here's where things are going to get a little interesting.
Okay.
Because as we talked about, as we alluded to, Disney has a checkered history with race and race relations.
Period.
So what is...
From the blacks to the Jews.
Okay. So like what's interesting about this soundtrack and movie, right, is that the movie is set where it is. And they do make use of black actors for a number of the roles.
Yes.
You know, Mufasa's James Earl Jones. I think Sarabi wasn't she the queen from Coming to America?
I think so. Yeah.
So sis, Whoopi Goldberg was one of the hyenas.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think that's where like the black actors end.
Well, besides the singing, because exactly.
But that's the distinction I want to make, right?
Yeah.
Because on the soundtrack, you do have the use of black
voices,
individuals, right, and black voices. So one of the most notable that deserves all of the roses, deserves all of the acclaim and praise still to this day, is the singing voice of Simba, Simba, and that is none other than Jason Weaver.
Yeah.
And
oh
my gosh, Jason. Teddy from ATL. Yeah. He was in Drumline.
Smart Guy.
Okay. Jason Weaver is a claim.
He played Michael Jackson.
Yes. He did.
He played Michael Jackson.
I'm glad that we brought that up because this is a nice little segue.
Yeah.
So, Netflix has a podcast called Strong Black Leads. And shout out to my sis, Kenya, for who's a friend of the show. But she put me onto this. And she told me specifically about the Jason Weaver episode.
Oh my God.
Which was ironically released on my birthday. So everything happens for a reason. Let's be clear. But so Jason Weaver is, he was young Michael Jackson in the Jacksons and American Dream movie. And who also went on to do other things. One of which we didn't mention so far. He was Brandy's brother in Thea.
I was about to say, hold on now.
He was in Thea.
Yeah.
But Jason Weaver has an episode of Strong Black Lead, and he spends like the first maybe 15 minutes, like one of the first questions he's asked is talking about the whole Jackson's movie and Lion King.
Yeah.
And so I was like listening to it, and I just like jotted down a couple of things. So he was talking about how he was recruited for the Lion King soundtrack by Sir Elton John.
Wow.
And apparently, Elton came to the set of the Jacksons movie. Mm-hmm. He said it was a day that they were doing like a performance sequence. Yeah. And Elton was
that one.
I will tell him.
Yeah.
And so he would apparently Elton John was just really impressed by his voice and just was like, hey, working on this project for the Lion King, would love to have you, boom, 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 boom. And so he was talking about that. But he was also saying that there were two other kids who auditioned for the role, who didn't get it. But just thinking about the fact that Jason Weaver, who has been one of those people in culture, black culture, that we know, but we don't always recognize all the shit that they've done.
Yes.
He's, one of those people, and he really made those songs iconic.
Yes.
Because he's such a capable vocalist.
Right.
And so just celebrating him for a moment, I think that was amazing. I honestly feel like he could have done both the speaking and the singing voice of Simba, but it's all good. But but yeah, so just thinking about him, and because I know we're gonna be talking about our favorite songs off the soundtrack.
Yeah.
But
Well, let's go ahead and get into that.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's just do a couple of our favorite songs for each.
Okay.
We made sure that we were not gonna have the same ones.
We did.
But yeah, go ahead. Well, what's your first favorite one? Since you're talking about Jason, I'm assuming.
My gosh.
Yeah.
I have to start off with I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, such a great song, and if you're thinking about, like, that song is really notable in the fact that it marks Simba's wide-eyed optimism and enthusiasm before this tragedy happens.
Right.
And so
it's very much like an expectation versus reality.
Exactly, right? And not realize, like, I just can't wait to be king, but whoa, like, I don't want to become king under these conditions.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Or even the understanding of what a king is, because a lot of what he talks about
is very superficial.
Yeah.
Right. And so just being able to note that growth in terms of that. So, I love that song. I love, I don't know. It's just like one of those, like, I will sing that song right now. And like, I know the words. Yeah. And so just thinking about in terms of songs that represent a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just, like, you don't think about music from that movie without thinking about that song.
Yeah.
And so I think that Jason Weaver, young Simba, that was just a critical moment in the movie because, again, it shows where Simba was as opposed to where he would eventually be.
Right.
And at that moment, you don't even realize that we're in for a whole other little plot line that's going to pop up. So that would definitely be the first song that I give.
Yeah.
What about you?
So my first song that I'm going to give is Be Prepared. Performed by Scar, voiced by Jeremy Irons.
Who was amazing in that role.
Right, exactly. So it's just interesting, and I was listening to that song today, and on the soundtrack there's like what do I want to call it? There's kind of like there's a beginning to the song that isn't in the movie. That's kind of like a I guess a refrain, if you will. Okay. It's like Scar is saying, it's internal dialogue, but it's like rhyming, kind of like poetic type of thing, where essentially you get into the mind of Scar and you realize that, like, what he's doing with the song, what he's doing in the movie is using folks to his own gain. You know, like, so like through the hyenas or whatever. And it was very interesting listening to this in like the Trump era, because I very much had this feeling of like what he's been able to do with like poor whites. You know what I'm saying? And like what Scar was able to do with these hyenas, of like convincing them of a dream of what would be and having it not be the case at all. So like so before I get into that, like the song, so this is one song that, and we'll get into a conversation about like obviously the 2019 remake later. But for a long time they were saying that Be Prepared might not be on that. And so I was concerned, because I was just like, like if Scar shines at any point in the movie, like you have to have Be Prepared. You just have to you have to have Be Prepared in that movie, because otherwise you don't understand what Scar's motives are. You know? True. But so it is very much like this, you get into the mind of the villain of the story, and you'll understand what it is that they want, what their motives are, how Scar views the world around him and why he's doing what he's doing. Which in that age, when you were so used to having these like black and white villains that like weren't like a Killmonger or a Thanos, where it's like, I kind of get it, even if I don't agree with the methods, like I can, like, villains just weren't as developed back then. You know what I'm saying? In the early 90s. True. And so
it's like they just did bad shit just
just
do bad shit.
Right, exactly. And so like with this you're able to see that. But so getting back to the conversation about you're so silly.
I am.
Getting back into the conversation with like the hyenas and how Scar is able to use them. At the very end of the song, when he's talking, like in the background, you hear the hyenas saying like something like, "We'll have food, lots of food," or something like that. So it's basically just like this nigga is gonna feed us. You know what I'm saying? That's all we care about. Like, we just care about getting fed and like getting this money, which like taking it back to this like MAGA mindset of just like what Trump has been able to do with these poor whites, of just convincing them that they can give them a life. You know, that it's actually, because we see what happens when Scar gets in power. It's a wasteland. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even have grass. You know, so it's just like like. So
how was the baby supposed
to be? Okay. He's making all of these promises, and it's just it's to get what he wants. You know, once he gets into power,
you did.
You know,
you brought that right on round.
Once he gets into power, he doesn't do anything for anybody. He's like sitting in his, you know, tower, Proud Rock, you know, singing about a lovely bunch of coconuts. Okay. You know, like, not doing nothing for no one. Hello. Right, exactly.
Jesus.
So, yeah. But what's your next
My
song?
Second one? So my second one is Hakuna Matata. Okay. Like, I probably could be more stereotypical in my favorite songs on this album if I tried.
Yeah.
But I think for me, in looking at The Lion King, because it was a very heavy movie.
Yes.
Like, cloaked in like child friendly, you know, images and music and things like and visuals. Is that, you know what I mean? It was just like, oh, like, okay. So I really naturally gravitated towards the lighter moments in the movie. And so for me, Hakuna Matata, I think that it's amazing because that's, even though it's a children's movie, it's advice or a mindset that you almost need to get at that age to persist into your adulthood.
Seriously.
Like, it means no worries for the rest of your days. Like, it's our problem for you. Philosophy.
Yeah.
Hakuna Matata. And it's like, shit. Like, so like even now, like, I was like, what, 7 when The Lion King came out? I'm 32 now. Yeah. I know I don't look it. But, you know what I'm saying, just thinking about the role of a mindset or philosophy like an Hakuna Matata at this age.
Yeah. You need it more now than you did when you were a kid.
Okay, because I ain't had no problem with that. So it's just like thinking about that, like what the song means, and then also I just enjoy the playfulness of the song. Cause I know Nathan Lane did one of the voices.
Timon.
Yeah, who did the other one?
It escapes me.
I can't remember. Yeah. And then Jason Weaver's in the mix.
Right.
So again, like my favorite songs from the soundtrack were Jason Weaver, because he was just amazing.
Right.
So Hakuna Matata, and I think that I also chose songs that, for me, encompass the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. So Hakuna Matata comes on the other side, right? Once Simba is out trying to figure his shit out.
Yeah.
And trying to like understand like where he goes next. That song was like a marked difference in his trajectory where it's like, okay, stop moping.
Yeah.
And get your shit right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be alright. You know what I mean? And I think that, again, that's just something that we have to constantly remind ourselves of as adults. Like, get your shit together.
Yeah.
It's gonna be alright.
Yeah.
Like, keep moving.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So my second song is Circle of Life.
Oh.
So I think that song just really is it's such a very important song, and it just means so much to me. Especially like you said, it's kind of like Hakuna Matata in your adult life, just having to reconcile with some things and having to like understand the circle of life, right? So it's just like, you know, the circle of life, it moves us all through despair and hope, through faith and love. Like, life just is. You know what I'm saying? Like, life is just life, and like you have to decide what your circle of life, you know, from start to finish is gonna look like. And it's just That's really it. Like, I
mean, so
yeah.
The interesting thing about that song, and to your point, I definitely think it's a very important song.
Yeah.
So there's on the either like a deluxe or like they released like a version of the soundtrack in like 2003.
Okay.
That was like extended kinda, and you have a version of Circle of Life with Elton John singing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's great. Like, I like Elton John, but at the same time, I appreciate the fact that the main version of that song that was used in the movie,
yes,
that was the first song on the soundtrack, was the version where you have, like, you know, black.
Yes.
And so I want to say, like, African,
yes,
like, born singers.
Yeah.
And if I assume that, my bad. But that's what I get from it.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, either way, they're speaking the language.
Exactly.
Right? So there's like an appreciation.
And there's an acknowledgement that Elton, you can record like the album cut.
Yeah.
But we need to get the real thing
Yeah.
for the song that's going to be used in the movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important because when you think about movies set in a particular setting, culture, environment, it is very important that you maintain the richness of that culture and environment.
Yes.
Particularly as you're like putting together like a soundtrack or something like that.
That's a great segue into what will be the remake of this movie.
Yes.
So first of all, just the influence. So between that movie, between 1994 Lion King and 2019 Lion King, you have Broadway. You have sequels. You have Lion King 1.5. You know what I'm saying? From Timon and Pumbaa's perspective, like this
Never
movie
seen it.
has legs. You're not missing much.
Okay,
the movie has legs, is what I'm saying,
okay,
and just like the
right.
story of it, like it's
For
just
sure.
it's been able to last for so long,
Mm-hmm.
And so much so that I feel like the Broadway show will have a certain amount of influence on this 2019 release.
Oh,
so
for
like,
sure.
well, first of all, you know, just shout out our gear, what we got, you know, shout outs to the Lion King, and, you know, the Lion Queen.
Okay.
But so it's just interesting because so like Jon Favreau, who is directing the movie,
Oh shit!
is the person
I
who.
didn't realize he was directing the movie.
Yeah. So he's the person that did the Jungle Book. He was just most recently we've seen him as in Endgame. He plays Happy, Iron Man's best friend.
So, because I always knew Jon Favreau as an actor.
Right, exactly. But so I think Disney picked him because of the work that he did with the Jungle Book and like kind of like the way that he was able to bring the live kind of CGI animals into the Disney world.
Well, if that's the case, don't rush to take your kids to see it. The Jungle Book was terrifying.
Yeah.
The remake was terrifying.
But with this one, and what you were saying was the influence of, or I guess the black and the African influence or whatever, or Pan-African, I guess if you want to call it that.
Yes, come on.
And so with this movie, like this, I think this go around, they made it very intentional to like this is gonna be a black ass movie. Like the people in this movie that aren't black are there for a reason. And the reason why I say that is because all of this, I mean, this is really like a fan caster's dream for this movie. Like if you were to, and even down to the white folks. So like if you were thinking of a Pumbaa, a Timon, and a Zazu for right now, like Seth Rogen, perfect. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Like Billy Eichner, perfect. And then John Oliver, like
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm so here for it.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I have no doubt that they will absolutely do what they need to do with each of those roles. But then you get to the meat. You know what I'm saying? Like you get to the other folks that are gonna be in there. I'm just so thankful. One, that 25 years later, James Earl Jones is able to reprise the role.
God do it?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Because that is one role I will say like would have been very, very difficult to recreate and replace. You know, and even with, Mufasa kind of having the role that he has in the movie, where it's like he's not there for the entire movie, like you need that voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just need it, you know.
You do.
And anybody else would have just been attempting to recreate that voice.
Exactly.
Like nobody else could have brought like a fresh, like the way that Will Smith is doing, like the genie or whatever. Nobody else would have been able to do that. Like it would have just been like, oh, just sound like James Earl Jones. Exactly. Like it would have just been honestly just a no-name person trying to recreate James Earl Jones' voice.
I agree.
But everybody else, if you wanna, just gonna throw it over to you.
This lineup is insane.
Insanity.
I mean, one, you got Donald Glover playing Simba.
Right.
And as if that wasn't enough.
Right.
You got the Queen playing Nala. And when we say the Queen, y'all already know who we talking about.
No one but her.
Beyonce. And I think the T is that Beyonce is executive producing the soundtrack.
She is, with Elton John.
Oh, my God.
And Hans Zimmer. So it's just like, you can't lose. You cannot lose. And she's coming up with original tracks.
This is about to be bananas. And that's why Mother said, let me get y'all homecoming. Because I got work to do. I got work to do. I got a job, baby.
So it's so funny because, just taking a pause on Beyonce for a second, there is...
As we are known to do.
There is conversation going around that, like, in addition to all of the songs that are from the original movie, they're going to be, of course, like the original songs that Beyonce and Elton John are working on. But I also strongly believe they're going to incorporate some of the Broadway aspects into the movie. There is a song in the Broadway play called Shadowlands that is a Nala solo song.
Ooh.
And I don't think that Beyonce would have signed up for this movie if they weren't going to give her that. Honestly, like she had, like, I see it. Like, sure, because other than that, the only thing she would be doing is "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?" You know, and that's a duet. Beyonce. Exactly. I mean, as much as Beyonce is here for the cause, like.
Okay, I mean we saw Dreamgirls.
Yeah.
Mama made sure she had her moment with Lisa. Okay.
So if she performs Shadowlands. Which is another. Oh my God!
I can't wait to even hear that.
Yeah, I have to play that for you too.
Okay. Yes.
But I just see it in my mind's eye, like right here. I see it, and I just need
third eye.
Yes, I just need that. That I will be satisfied. Well, I'll be satisfied either way. But I just see myself in that. Like once that moment comes. Whew. But I mean, and then that's just the first two.
It is. So now I want to talk about the two young actors.
Yes.
That played young Simba and young Nala.
Oh my God! And the thing is, they've both already had moments this year.
Yes, they have. Shit.
I'm sorry.
I'm so thank you because we here, we see each other.
Oh my God!
Like, so JD McCrae is playing young Simba. If you don't know who JD McCrae is, he was most recently featured in the film Little.
Yes.
And he was like the boy that had the beautiful voice.
Little singer boy.
Okay. But he looks familiar. Wasn't he in something else? Did he play?
I don't know. What were you gonna say?
So I don't know if he's even old enough.
What you might recognize him from, he was at the Grammys and performed with Donald Glover. He performed part of.
He did. Was it like
boom,
Afraid or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
On
Donald Glover's
Awaken My Love.
Yes, exactly. He performed that with him.
But he looks like the little boy that. Do you remember the sequence from Dreamgirls where they had like the other groups that were
and they had the Campbell connection? Is that what
he looked like the little boy that led that
I
little
think he's
group.
too young for that.
That's what I think too.
06, 07.
Yeah, so probably not him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was really good in Little, and he's gonna be fucking amazing in this movie. And my sis, that's playing young Nala. She was the daughter in Us.
The daughter, yes, she was. She was the daughter.
So I had to take it in. Daughter, okay? She was.
Yes.
Damn, what was sis name in Us? I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
But the track star. Okay. Zora.
Yeah, Zora. Of course. Yeah. Thank you, Jordan Peele.
Okay.
But yeah, so Shahidi Wright Joseph?
Yes.
And I know she's gonna do what she needs to do.
Baby, she cut.
Because she did what she needed to do.
Hello?
So...
So, I mean, so those are just like Samba and Nala's character.
Right.
But we get into the fact that they didn't cast it.
She would tell us you're for. I got you. He's playing Scar.
I think that's going to be
and the thing that's so
good.
perfect about that is because he is, if I remember correctly, well, the last name alone. So he is of African descent.
Yes.
From like the UK or something. He has like that kind of like British accent, which is what Jeremy Irons has. And he's also black. It's like the perfect like
if you needed to
bring it all together.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because
I see it.
that kind of like villain. I don't know why they give like British actors that villain voice, but it's just what we recognize as like a villain type of voice.
Oh, so that might be an American sort of
it is.
like
it is very
thing
American.
we need to write.
But but the fact that he'll have that and he's black and he's of African descent, and I know like and he's just great. He's a great performer and a great actor and all that other stuff. Yes. We already said James Earl Jones.
Alfre Woodard as Sarabi.
Perfect.
Give her roses.
Perfect.
Mama been holding us down for decades.
Years. Absolutely.
Then you got Keegan Michael Key. Yeah. You got Eric Andre. Yeah. You got like
Florence Kasumba, I think is her name.
Now she gives me a little bit of my sis from Black Panther.
Oh, you talking about Okoye?
Yes.
Yeah.
Danai
Gurira. Yeah.
She kind of looks like her in this headshot, but she
it's because she got a ball cut.
Yeah, it might be.
But,
Love to my sister.
And speaking of Black Panther, John Caney, who played, I'm pretty sure that's T'Chaka. I'm pretty sure that's T'Chaka from Black Panther.
T'Chaka?
T'Challa's father.
Oh, yeah.
Boy. Read up on your marbles, sis. Get hip.
But you know what? That's like...
He really fucking tried me. Because he definitely looked at you like, who the fuck you mean T'Challa?
The thing is, you thought I was
wrong. No, nigga, you're wrong. Excuse me.
Honey, whenever I hear Chaka or Shaka, I think about God, okay? So this is a good segue, and I'm glad that Evangeline decided to chime in, even though it was against me. But
you want to get yourself.
But we were talking earlier, she was just talking about the similarities between The Lion King and Black Panther.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like that's something we could spend a few minutes talking about. Because as you alluded to earlier, you know, this movie happened before we got, you know, Disney acknowledgement of black narratives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
besides some fucking racist ass crows and
Song of the South.
Yeah, and Song of the South.
Oh god. Yeah, you know Disney just like I think they just like put Song of the like that movie like
they threw it away. Nah.
To the away. Okay. But in thinking about because you know that's Marvel is under Disney. You know what I'm saying? So just thinking about like Black Panther. And the energy around that movie and the release and things like that, and just thinking about before Black Panther there was Lion King, and I feel like I remember a lot of people drawing that comparison at the time, but just thinking about it now, you know what I mean? You even have, I don't know. I just think it's gonna be interesting to see how people like the energy that's harnessed around this film. Post Black Panther,
right?
25 years after the original Lion King, and with the names that are attached to this film, I just think
I'm ready for this to be Avengers Endgame.
Oh,
the greatest opening of all time.
I'm ready
love
for
Avengers,
too.
But I need it.
I think it definitely has the ability because let's be honest. Me myself personally, I was never going to see the Avengers, because I just don't have that much investment in the series. Sure. But I'll be there to see The Lion King.
You know what? And at the end of the day, Disney gets paid off for all of that. So
they ain't worried.
Right. They're not concerned.
Right.
But yeah, so it's just so interesting, like you said, that this is coming out when it is. And the other thing that I'm really excited about is, and just reading up on it, so Jon Favreau, the director, said, like a lot of people, there's been a discussion about whether or not it should just be a shot-for-shot remake, And he was saying, there are some moments that you just can't get rid of.
Yeah.
But he was saying that what he really wanted to do was, like, flesh out the story. And one way that he said that was just, like, I think there's gonna be more like Mufasa in the film, like more pre-Stampede, like
that would be good
because to kind of like build the connection between father and son.
Yeah.
Which is gonna make it that much more tragic. So thanks, but
yeah, because we all know how that's gonna end.
Exactly. And that's the thing about this. It's like there are very little like spoilers that we can give away, but it's just like the way that they choose to execute it will be very interesting, and that will be the surprising thing.
It'll be a new experience.
I'm excited.
I am too. I really am.
I'm very, very excited.
I'm excited to hear this music. I'm excited to see this film.
Right, absolutely. Because on both fronts, we have people that are just gonna do what they need to do.
For sure.
So yeah.
Okay, yes.
Well,
roll on July.
Right, exactly. Well, do you want to get into Run That Back really quickly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
So, okay, I'm gonna do my Run That Back, or you're gonna do yours first.
Sure, I can.
And then I'm gonna do mine.
Okay.
And then I have something else I want to ask you about.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm scared.
I'm being mysterious.
So yeah, okay. So my Run That Back, just really quickly, if y'all haven't heard of the Baby, he's like another rapper that's out now, and it's funny. So I'm bringing this back because you were talking about Ludacris earlier.
Okay.
A lot of his videos. So there's a video. This isn't the song that I'm talking about.
Okay.
But the song that he has, Suge, that video, I was watching it with one of my Neos. And I was saying to him, like, it has this Ludacris type vibe. So, like, he has this, he's like, and that, so, like, there's a scene where he has this, like, kind of puffed up shirt that makes him look, like, super, super swole for no reason. And it's, like, obviously not real, you know what I'm saying? But he's, like, walking around, kind of like what Ludacris did with, like, Stand Up. And, you know, like, just, like, super big, like, literally having a small person hanging from your neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, the shoes were huge and, like, all that stuff. It was just very reminiscent of all of that and like Ludacris and kind of like how he was able to kind of have animated real life music videos.
Right.
But then he also has a song with Offset called Babysitter.
Okay.
And that is another song that I really enjoy. It's like really fast paced. I like the beat a lot. The content, you know, is typical rap nigga shit, I guess, if you want to call it that. But no, I really like it, and I've been playing it kind of back to back recently. So yeah, the Babysitter featuring Offset is my Run That Back.
Okay, I fuck with it.
Yeah.
So my Run That Back this week is from an artist that I have been following for at least 4 or 5 years now.
Okay.
Tink.
Oh yeah.
Love Tink.
Yeah.
You know, amazing vocalist and rapper.
Okay.
And was once, you know, signed to Mosley Music Group. And, you know, just on her way. You know, I think since then she's gone back to being an independent artist.
Yeah.
But she's still been putting out great projects. So last year she put out an EP called, was it Pleasure and Pain? Pain and Pleasure. And she has a really good song on there.
Okay.
That's not the song I want to talk about.
Okay.
She has some good songs on there. So look up
sure,
Tink's EP that came out last year.
Okay.
But I want to talk about a song off the most recent project that she put out called Voicemails.
Okay.
And she has this song called Bad Side. And it's just essentially talking about, you know, being in a relationship with somebody and they do shit that gets on your nerves, they do shit that pisses you off, but you know what I'm saying, I still want you to call, I still want you to be in my life, I still want you.
Wow.
And so
can't relate. No, I'm joking.
Get away from me. But like, you know what I mean, how many of us can relate?
No, seriously.
Okay,
seriously.
To something like that.
Yeah.
And so I like Tink. Like I said, she's just amazing singing and rapping.
Right.
And the beat, it has just a really nice sample on it. It's I just like it. I really do. So
okay.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you,
great.
you know, this episode is coming out right after Mother's Day.
Yes.
So, you know, I know that you have a really close relationship with your mom.
Absolutely
I have
do.
a really close relationship with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to like get into, you know, as we think about Run That Back, so just other songs that like, you know, that we like or things like that. I wanted to know, what is a song that, you know, one, reminds you of your mom, like, and then what is a song that whenever you hear it, you just think about your mom? I mean, I guess it's kind of like the same thing, but like, so like, okay, what is, you know what, I'll just do it this way.
Great.
What is a song that you hear and it's like, oh, I think about my mama?
Yeah, okay. I can give you an album.
Oh.
So, there is an album that came out in 1998 called Everlasting Love by CeCe Winans. And that album, my mom used to listen to. We were in the car with her in her Toyota Previa, just listening to that, just like front to back to front to back to front to back. So much so that my sister and I just fell in love with CeCe Winans so much. And my mom took us to this conference with her in New Orleans. It was like some, I don't know, minister's conference or whatever. But CeCe Winans was there. And me and my sister, like as kids, like we saw her and we were just like, CeCe. And then CeCe Winans like turned to us and was like, CeCe. And then we like hugged her and like.
Do you have pictures?
Somewhere. I think my mom has pictures.
I need
somewhere.
to see them. I'm gonna ask my good sis.
But then also content wise, so like that was around about the time that like my parents got divorced, and like that album I think was really getting my mom through. Like if you listen to some of the content and stuff, like if it wasn't Waiting to Excel, it was Everlasting Love by CeCe Winans.
I'm glad.
And
you
so right, and so even today, like I can listen to that album and think about my mom, but then also, and I think maybe a couple weeks ago, like I was like just cooking and whatever, but like I had a rough week, and I put that album on and I text my mom and I was just like, you know, I listened to this album and I think about you and I think about like the love that you have for me and my sister, and I'm just so very thankful that you introduced me not only to this album, but just like my love for music in general.
For sure.
And just that you're like a great mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would definitely be the album for me. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Oh. So I mean, so for me, it's interesting because like there are two songs that come to mind.
Okay.
One, of course, is Boyz II Men, A Song from Mama.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so I think about that because that song actually came out the same year that my grandma passed. So I know that for my mom, it was a very meaningful song, and it really helped her to like cope with that. And there was another word I was thinking of, but it like that was a song that she really latched onto. And my mom and I have always been like really, really close. So usually whatever one of us is feeling, the other one feels. Yes. So I remember like really latching on to that song as well. But just even thinking about the meaning of that song for a mother that's still here. Right. And just, you know, I could never go a day without my mama. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even, like, we'll hit each other up and be like, it's been too long since you done called me. Or, it's been too long since you done called me. You know what I mean? Or just whenever major things happen, I always, like, hit her up. So, so that song just, you know, and I think about the fact that, like, as being someone that's always, you know, been interested in working in music and things like that, like, you know, when I am doing work, like, every song essentially is gonna be a song for mama because I'm working to like make sure I can look out for my mother.
No, but I can't listen to that song without tearing up.
That, oh my God, like legit. Between that song and think about, we got that song and One Sweet Day like within like a year span of each other. Jesus the Christ. But the other one is a little more lighthearted. So my mom loves, I'm gonna say love in the present tense because even though someone has passed on, I don't think that you can like you can still love them. My mom loves Joe Levert. And so growing up, My mom would always, her and her best girlfriend, they would love playing Casanova by Joe Levert. I think it's by Levert, actually.
Yeah.
It was that song and Baby Hold On To Me by Joe Levert, and I think maybe Ed Levert. I don't
Lord
know.
have mercy.
Whenever I hear,
Yeah.
like, I don't hear Baby Hold On To Me that much, but whenever I hear Casanova, I'm like, I have to text my mom and be like, Mom, like, they're playing your song here. Like, because that song just makes me think about my mom. So, forever in perpetuity. Like, whenever I hear Casanova, my first thought is going to be hitting on my mom.
Yeah.
So, Mom, love you to pieces.
So much.
Man, okay, I've enjoyed this episode.
I have too.
So, I mean, we're about to wrap up, but there is going to be a little bit of a, well, will it be a wait? I think maybe like a week.
Maybe. It won't be too long. We'll be back to you soon.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, hit us up, write us a note at gmail.com. Check out our social media.
Yes.
Instagram.
At OTN_podcast on Instagram and at OTN podcast, all one word, on Facebook.
Well, we will see you all next time. And until then,
order you some preposterous popcorn.
Yes,
because as you can see,
it's almost empty.
Good as y'all know what.
Yes.
Tisha, I don't know what you put in the popcorn, but it's amazing.
Crack.
We love it.
We'll
It's
see
amazing.
you next
We
time.
love it. Bye,
all
y'all.
right. Bye.